Yeah, forgive you, narrator, if I, it was we're working off of like, we're all sort of signal and things like that. I mean, so forgive me if I'm. Well, I recorded one thing and I was sort of, gee, should I put that up? But I don't know what the numbers mean all the time. But there's one thing that brought. So I mean, it's so much of what we say about this healthcare thing. Like, I mean, I've said a lot about in the videos about two different things. Like, one of which is like how our country is perceived and why. People don't. I mean, people in Europe like really don't understand. What they don't understand is not that we're a sort of a newer country. I mean, we're still, as Obama said, certainly haven't perfected ourselves yet. But the idea that people oppose, look for reasons. By the way, they look for reasons. I mean, I'm saying if you want to make an argument and this person's like educated and like argue against, having health care for people. I mean, you can't fool a person like me. But I mean, yeah, sometimes people say they know what they're talking about. But the reality is, no, people in the rest of the industrialized countries, like what they don't understand, it's not that we don't have a healthcare system yet. It's the fact that people don't want it, whether they would oppose such a thing. I've often talked about it in history, like now that we have some distance from like some of these like brutal world wars, and you say like people if we're doing if we you could tell if what you can tell about a person's the society that is in question, like that they don't care about children, they don't care if people have health care, like they don't care about anything. I mean, that people would be, how are people supposed to view our country? But it's that they don't understand how we don't want those things here. What kind of people live here? I mean that's what's going on a lot of the time. It's not that it's like in fashion to hate the country, and it isn't simply because of the role we play in the world or something. If we played that role in the world, but we appeared to like be a civilized society, like people wouldn't perceive the way they do about our country. A lot of things, but we don't. We're not a very good example of anything. People don't want health care for kids. But I always go back to the thing, like if you look, watch British Parliament sometime. I mean, it's just like watch British Parliament. Like take a minute, go to BBC America or something, watch it. I mean, watch how they watch how the representatives in other in European countries, like how they communicate with one another to begin with. I mean, simply the whole thing. I mean, we're not yet living in a civilized country. But I mean, I'm saying, like, can you blame people? Watch British Parliament. Can you blame people for thinking like that everyone here must be stupid or ignorant or cruel or something? I mean, what are they to think? What are they to think in the other industrialized countries? Given the role we play in the world too, it's actually dangerous to have a population that's that like, you know, you know, as Anthony Burgess said, the cold-blooded and the insensate. Like, we can't really be like this. But I mean, part of it is how could what? There is no real justification to repeal that healthcare bill. Like I said, I'm more aware than a lot of people of the problems within it. But that would be part. That was the point. It'd be part of a discussion. Well, something's in place. Okay. Well, people. Here's what should be removed from there. Here's what we have to change, and that would be part of like moving us along to healthcare. No, the representatives, but they're representing someone. They're representing people apparently, like who think that's logical to want to repeal it. I don't know what to say. I just don't. I wish I could help with this. It's going on right now. It's why I'm yapping, but I don't know.